I first would like to thank Geopolitical Cartographer, especially Dr. Wignaraja and Mr. Rishan De Silva, for organizing this event. It is a great honor for me to be here today with all of you. I'm also very happy to see such a big crowd, which indicates the high interest in this subject. Today, I stand before you to share a story, not just any story, but the story of a nation that rose from the ashes of war to become one of the world's leading economies. This is a story of Japan, my homeland. From the transformative Meiji Restoration through the turbulent times of World War II, culminating in what is often termed the economic miracle. Our journey through history is a testament to resilience, innovation, and foresight. Beginning in the late 19th century, under the pressure to open the country from Western powers, Japan embarked on a path of rapid modernization and industrialization, fundamentally altering the society and economy. This journey was not without its challenges, as the scars of World War II testify. However, the occupation by victors of World War II was Japan's second chance of transformation. The post-war era opened the doors to an unprecedented period of economic growth and prosperity, a phase often referred to as a Japanese economic miracle. Why recount this tale in Sri Lanka today? Because in the heart of Japan's historical narrative lie universal lessons of overcoming adversity, embracing change, and fostering growth. Sri Lanka, at this juncture of economic hardship, stands where Japan once stood. Today, as Sri Lanka is trying to overcome the worst economic crisis in its history, I wish to draw parallels, illuminate paths, and inspire ideas that can potentially guide Sri Lanka toward a future of prosperity and stability. Let me begin the history. In 1868, Japan embarked on a dramatic transformation from a feudal society, a society run by samurais, into a modern nation state. This period of change, known as the Meiji Restoration, began with the restoration of imperial rule and led to profound changes in Japanese society, economy, and governance. It is essential to note that many reforms in Japan occurred against the backdrop of foreign pressures to open the country to foreign trade, symbolized by the arrival of a large modern US Navy fleet, so to speak, Commodore Perry's black ships. While external pressure gave rise to a nationalistic and exclusionary sentiment to expel the foreigners, Japanese leaders strategically decided to embrace Western advancements in technology and democratic institutions, keeping the Japanese spirit and learning from Western technology. This allowed Japan to modernize the country without losing its unique identity. Several groundbreaking policies were introduced during the era of Meiji Restoration. The abolition of the feudal system dismantled the power of the samurai class, paving the way for a more centralized government, meritocracy, and classless society. The Meiji leaders established a conscript army, replaced feudal domains with prefectures, and introduced a Western legal system and a new constitution, laying the ground for parliamentary democracy. In terms of economic modernization, the government actively promoted industrialization. This included the establishment of a modern banking system, the construction of railroads and telegraph lines, and the adoption of Western technologies. The government fostered high-quality silk industry for export and encouraged zaibatsu, or powerful business conglomerates, which played a crucial role in Japan's industrial growth. In education, a national system was established inspired by American and French models, which emphasized universal education and literacy. This was a revolutionary change as it provided the general population with access to education, fostering a more informed and capable workforce. The modernization initiated during the Meiji Restoration culminated in Japan's pinnacle of success with a victory in the Russo-Japanese War of 1905. However, the heightened nationalism among the Japanese people and a sense of superiority over other Asian ethnicities following this victory contributed to a shift toward excessive nationalism and militarism. Subsequently, Japan pursued colonization in the Korean Peninsula, further aggression in China, and escalated tensions with Western nations seeking equal opportunities for trade and investment in China. Amidst this nationalistic trend, Japan overestimated its capabilities, lost strategic judgment, and fueled by a sense of invincibility, carried out the ill-advised attack on Pearl Harbor, leading to its involvement in World War II. The consequences of the war were devastating. Japan's economy was left in ruins, and the societal impact was immense, leading to widespread poverty and suffering. The aftermath of World War II required a re-evaluation of Japan's role on the global stage and a commitment to peace and reconstruction. This turbulent period in our history serves as a stark reminder of the cost of conflict and the importance of peace and stability for national prosperity. In the aftermath of World War II, as Japan became under occupation by the victors of the World War, Japan faced daunting challenges. Our cities were devastated, our economy was in tatters, and our society was marked by profound suffering. Under occupation by the Allied forces led by General MacArthur of the US Army, Japan began the arduous process of rebuilding. Under the occupation, Japan embarked on a transformative journey, witnessing profound reforms that went beyond the conservative norms of the pre-war era. A pivotal moment in Japan's reintegration into international community was the San Francisco Peace Conference in 1951. Here, the late Sri Lankan President J.R. Jayawardena played a crucial role. His words of support for Japan, advocating forgiveness and encouraging the inclusion of Japan in the post-war global order, were instrumental. President Jayawardena said, "We in Asia, who have been the victims of aggression, do not wish to inflict upon Japan any suffering." His speech created a momentum for independence of Japan against the opposition of Soviet Union at the time. This episode symbolizes the enduring bonds between Japan and Sri Lanka, highlighting how compassion and understanding can triumph over past grievances, setting the stage for mutual prosperity and lasting peace. In my opinion, the reason behind President Jayawardena's wise decision to support Japan was his deep understanding of Japan at the time. He stopped by Japan for about a week or 2 weeks before going to San Francisco, exchanged views with Prime Minister Shigeru Yoshida at the time, and saw with his own eyes the government and people of Japan struggling to transform into a democratic and peaceful nation. He saw the potential of Japan to become a country which will contribute to bringing prosperity to Asia. With such insight, he led the discussions in San Francisco with very convincing arguments. President Jayawardena's support was more than a diplomatic gesture. It was a catalyst that helped pave the way for Japan's acceptance and reintegration into the international community. After the entry into force of the San Francisco Peace Treaty in 1952, Japan returned to the international community as a peaceful nation and provided the first economic assistance to the Colombo Plan in 1954, and began providing economic assistance to developing countries, Asian countries in particular. For Sri Lanka, there were numerous important cooperation projects carried out with Japan's assistance, such as Sri Jayawardena Hospital, Sri Lanka Rupawahini Corporation, and Colombo Port. President Jayawardana's support to Japan stands out as a shining example of what a wise and strategic diplomatic decision can achieve. For Sri Lanka, in the process of rebuilding its economy, there are several lessons to be learned from Japan's experience, but I would like to highlight 3 key points. Firstly, taking advantage of the situation, taking advantage of the external pressure. Looking back at Japan's history, most reforms in Japan that were achieved would not have been possible without pressure from the international community. The reformist leaders of Japan, whether during the Meiji Restoration period or under occupation after World War II, had made wise decisions for the future of the country under foreign pressure. Today, Sri Lanka is trying to reform the economic system under the agreement with IMF. Reforms such as tax reform, electricity reform, or SOE reform may be challenging and not always popular to citizens. However, viewing the utilization of such external pressure for the betterment of the country should not be seen as a sign of weakness, but as a testament to the wisdom of leaders. From an international perspective, agreements with IMF serve as backing for Sri Lanka's commitment to pursuing rational and consistent economic policies. Japan would not have supported the debt restructuring negotiation of Sri Lanka without agreement with IMF, which assures the consistency of Sri Lanka's economic policy. Second lesson from Japan's experience that I can think of, its importance of building up a competitive industry for economic growth. Sri Lanka is now at crossroads. This economic crisis can be utilized as a golden opportunity to transform and grow. Japan's experience of the economic miracle shows that it is important to formulate its industrial policy to foster competitive export industry. What can be the strong and competitive industries for Sri Lanka? This is a question for you, Sri Lankan people. Sri Lanka's economy has stabilized under the IMF program. The inflation was contained to single digit, and the GDP growth turned positive from the third quarter of the last year. I commend the immense efforts of the current government and the people of Sri Lanka to bring about this economic stability in a very short time. However, without a competitive export industry, once Sri Lanka lifts its import restriction, there is a risk of foreign currency shortage again. So, therefore, after achieving the stabilization, it is essential to build up a competitive industry that can push sustainable development of the country. In building up industries, Sri Lanka may learn lessons from Japan's industrial policies. It is important not to protect a loss-making industry with government money out of favoritism, but to ensure smooth transition from uncompetitive industry to a more competitive sector with a future. Thirdly, I would like to touch upon corruption problems. I hope in Sri Lanka, ongoing anti-corruption reforms draw lessons from various countries, including Japan, to develop effective anti-corruption mechanisms. We would like to strongly support ongoing Sri Lanka's effort in this field, and we are funding the UNDP project for enhancement of the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption. In fact, I had a meeting with them this morning, and I have encouraged their efforts. There are many other lessons that can be drawn from Japanese experiences. And we are ready to provide opportunities for Sri Lankan people to learn from them through JICA or other schemes. Japan's experience of turning the crisis into an opportunity for success that I related today hopefully will give hints and generate insights into overcoming adversity, embracing change, and fostering growth. As Sri Lanka stands at a crossroads of economic challenges, I encourage all of us to draw inspiration from Japan's transformative journey, as well as the crucial role that Sri Lanka played in the independence of Japan. As Japan looks back on its journey of modernization and the transformative reforms that led to the prosperity of Japan, I am hopeful that Sri Lanka, drawing from these lessons, can chart its course towards a future of resilience, innovation, and prosperity. In the spirit of enduring friendship, let us work together towards a shared vision of progress, and may the bonds between Japan and Sri Lanka continue to strengthen and prosper. Thank you very much for listening.